Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? What's happening, man? So it's been a lot of drama in these streets of boxing, man. Or shall I say, in the social media world, man, in the metaverse, Twitter, you know what I'm saying, Instagram lives and things of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? Keyshawn Davis, who is a very exciting young fighter, a very, uh, you know, very gifted fighter, and has a whole hell of a lot of promise going forward in this game of boxing, man. If he keep everything going how he has it going right now, man, stay focused, stay sharp, continue to listen to his coach, Bo Mack, continue to stay under the tutelage of an all-time great fighter like Terrence Crawford, man, this dude can really, do some great things, man. Keep staying under the tutelage of a future, who I think is going to be a future all-time great, Shakur Stevenson. I think this kid is really going to do some great things in the sport, man. I really love his game, really love his skill set. And, I'm excited to see him continue to grow in the sport. So Keyshawn Davis, he had a fight on Shakur Stevenson's undercard where he didn't look incredible. He didn't look invincible like most fighters look in their sixth fight. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look like this unstoppable or immovable force or anything like that, but he looked good. He got the job done. He ended up stopping the guy. It seemed like he was struggling to really get in his rhythm, and the guy was a little rugged for him and kind of made it a little bit tougher than what it normally was. And Keyshawn Davis came out, man, and he said, hey, man, I had an off night. It is what it is. I had an off night, which is cool. I didn't think he looked bad at all. I just, it was one of those situations where, it took him a little longer to solve the puzzle. And that's all it was. But, he mentioned, he did, I believe it was an Instagram live, and he started going at a lot of different people, man. He went at Rolly Romero, which, Rolly always talking shit. So, anybody that say something about Rolly, he really got it coming to him. Rolly talks shit about any and everybody. Motherfuckers who ain't ever said nothing or mentioned Rolly. I told y'all, man, Rolly Romero is one of these kids that I still believe this. I believe Rolly Romero is from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Floyd Mayweather, how they did on ESPN, Sports Center, they from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, where it'd be like a high-level athlete, and they take one of these kids that got some sort of issue or like disability or something, and they take them and they let them live out their dream for a day. But somehow, Floyd, he about that bread. Floyd like, shit, fuck it. Let's keep this going. You know what I'm saying? We let him do one fight, let him do some more fights. You know what I'm saying? He get knockouts and stuff like that. Let's keep this shit going. So I think Rolly got other issues. You know what I'm saying? So, that I expect that from Rolly. I know he was gonna say some shit, and I don't really blame Keyshawn for going at Rolly Romero, calling him Squeak Man and shit. That shit funny as hell. But he went at the unified champion at welterweight, top 3 pound for pound, Errol the Truth Spence Jr. You feel what I'm saying? And all because Errol Spence mentioned on his Twitter that, hey, his fighter, Frank Martin, who fights in Keyshawn Davis's division, lightweight 135, which if you go back 4 months ago, like I posted the video, my previous video in the community, we talked about that fight. After one of Keyshawn Davis's fights, I think it was the last fight prior to this one, and then Frank Martin had just recently fought as well. That's a fight that we built up here on Contender Regime Boxing. That's a fight that we talked about the possibility of seeing, and I said that the title was, is it too early for Keyshawn Davis to fight the top guys at 135? Even though Frank Martin is a guy that's still making his name as well. And me personally, I think it ain't too early. I think he ready right now if he got the skills. Lomachenko jumped out there and did his thing. Keyshawn Davis was allowed to fight in the Olympics. lose, and then go back and fight after turning pro, go back and fight again, which is some unprecedented shit. Once you turn pro, you're not really supposed to be able to go back to the Olympics, but he was allowed to do that. So he has the experience. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, I'm like, shit, put him in there. But Errol Spence tweeted, I believe it was after the fact. You know what I'm saying? He said that, hey, man, Frank Martin really liked that. He didn't tag nobody. He didn't insinuate that, he was trying to set up a fight with Keyshawn Davis. In fact, when Keyshawn Davis said what he said about Errol Spence, he said, Frank Martin really liked that. Keyshawn Davis retweeted Errol Spence and said Terrence Crawford really liked that. And Errol Spence said, of course he is. That's why we in contention for the Undisputed Championship in my division. What you thought I was going to say something different? He said, keep working, building your name. You not on our radar yet. You know what I'm saying? But Errol Spence being the promoter of Man Down Promotions and his fighter being Frank Martin, who I met in person, a really cool guy, you know what I'm saying, about his business, focused on this shit. You feel what I'm saying? He said, man, my fighter is cold like that. And that's the type of guy Errol Spence is. He propping his fighter up, putting him on a pedestal, so people can know his name, and just talking about him the same way he lined up that fight with Chris Colbert. They're talking about Frank Martin and Chris Colbert having their next fights be against each other. That's a fight that Errol Spence facilitated, because on Twitter he said, hey man, look, I think this is a great fight. You really don't want to see my boy Frank Martin. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? You feel me? And that's a fight that Errol Spence facilitated, putting on his promoter hat. You dig what I'm saying? So Keyshawn Davis, I guess he was feeling some type of way. He felt like it was aimed towards him. So he tried to throw a little salt game at Errol Spence. And he went on live, Instagram live. He said, man, hey, Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you talking about you got your boy for me. You gonna get him hurt. You know what I'm saying? I got a boy too, Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? You scared of him. He on your bumper and shit like that. He talking real crazy. You feel me? But the odd thing that I saw was that the one thing that stood out to me was that Keyshawn Davis kept reiterating that he's only 6-0. And the sentiment that I got from that was that I'm not ready for y'all yet. You know what I'm saying? But the way he talking is like, I'm better than y'all right now. I want the smoke right now. But then at the same time, he's like, I'm only 6-0, guys. Like, just little old me. I'm only 6-0. Like, leave me alone. Why y'all trying to bring me up to the top guys so quick? Let me keep doing what I'm doing. He said, imagine what I would be doing at 10-0. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Who am I, if I fight y'all right now, who am I going to have to fight when I'm 20-0? You know what I'm saying? And that was the kind of like the weird thing, you feel me? And that's kind of the temperature of this video, because I'm questioning, I'm wondering, I'm like, I like the energy. Him going at Errol Spence, that really didn't make much sense, because I don't think that was warranted. But hey, he a grown man, do what he want to do, say what he want to say. But this is the question that I have. You saying, you talking real greasy, and you saying all of these different things, and I love the Frank Martin fight. I love Keyshawn Davis versus Frank Martin. I think it's a great fight. And I would have to favor Frank Martin. I just think Frank Martin is more polished. I think he more mentally strong. I think he more posed. I think he got the better coach. You know what I'm saying? I think skill-wise, they about the same. You know what I'm saying? I think Frank Martin got more power. Even though Keyshawn Davis is a great finisher from the level of competition that he faced, he ain't been fighting the competition that Frank Martin been fighting. You know what I'm saying? But, and again, he, like, to his point, he's only 6-0. So this is the thing. He says that, I'm better than these guys, and I'll hurt your boy, and I'll stop these guys. I'll step on you. I'll do all this. But then at the same time, I'm only 6-0. Don't, like, leave me alone. I'm only 6-0. I'm not ready for y'all. You feel me? So that's kind of contradictory. Also, he went at the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Devin Haney, who is the undisputed champion of his division. You know what I'm saying? He, on Twitter, Devin Haney was basically saying, like, I ain't never seen no dude like Keyshawn who was so happy that Shakur had mentioned Devin Haney's name after his fight. and go back and watch the post-fight interview for Shakur Stevenson after his last fight versus Robson Conceição. You got Keyshawn Davis in the background with his phone, jumping up and down, waiting, you know what I'm saying, waiting for Shakur to say Devin name. And when he finally said Devin name, because the interviewer was trying to get that out of him, when he finally said Devin name, you know, Keyshawn Davis, he just got super excited. You feel what I'm saying? So Dev was like, that was kind of weird energy, you know, but Keyshawn said, you know, man, yeah, you know, calling them all type of names and saying, yeah, I'm a, you know, after Shakur go up there and whoop you, you know what I'm saying? Devin was like, you getting excited about another man saying my name. Why don't you say it? Why don't you say you gonna fight me? You know, and then Keyshawn, he's talking about, you know, yeah, you know, after Shakur whoop you, then I'm gonna come whoop you too. But then at the same time, you saying that you only 6-0. So I think that Keyshawn, I love the energy that he brings. I think it's good for his brand. It's good to get eyes and ears on him. It's good to, you know, build up that buzz around your brand and everything that you bring into the sport. And on top of that, I believe he has the skills to match. But if you gonna go this route, you gotta be consistent and you gotta keep that energy, because when those fights actually do present themselves, which of course we know that Top Rank, Bob Arum, they not finna fumble their investment like that. They gonna protect that, man. We all know that. They gonna make sure that before they put him out there that he's absolutely positively ready. You know what I'm saying? So they not gonna do him like, I think they should do how they did Loma. Like, you know, Loma and his team they insisted on fighting the top guys immediately. Plus, Loma was already like 27 coming in the game, had over 300 amateur fights, and had an incredible record. So his situation was different. But I mean, this is kind of like the same shit. You know, this dude fought in the Olympics twice. You know what I'm saying? Even after turning pro, went back to the Olympics. So he got the experience. And the way he talking right now is like, okay, we'll put him in there then. See, that's the problem that I have with it. I don't have no problem with the energy. I love the energy. I have a problem with him saying all of these things, but then you're hiding behind the fact that you're 6-0, and you're hiding behind the fact that you don't have the same level of pro experience that these guys have, but yet you're saying that you're gonna do all of these different things to him. So I think they should unleash the hounds. Let that man take that goddamn chain off his neck and unloose him. Let him go. You know what I'm saying? And let's see what happens. That's what I want to see. Put him in there with Frank Martin. Put him in there with the undisputed champ, Devin Haney, and let's see what happens. That's what I put him in there with Rolly. Put him in there with Isaac Cruz. That's what I want to see. I think he got the skills to compete right now. He obviously got the energy that he bringing. Let's see it. What's the difference between Loma coming in 2-0, fighting for a world title, or in his second fight, fighting for a world title, and the difference, and Keyshawn Davis at 6-0, fighting for a world title, or fighting in a title eliminator, or fighting a top 10 guy? What's the difference? Really, they don't even have Frank Martin ranked in the top 10. So what's the difference between Frank Martin? Why we can't get Keyshawn and Frank Martin? I think that's a great fight. Make that shit happen. That's what I want to see. All this talking on Twitter and on Instagram and all that shit, man. Look, man, make that fight. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. So, you know, again, man, I love the energy, and I love how he's speaking for himself, and he being brash, he bringing that Keith Thurman WrestleMania energy. I like that. But when it come down to actually making that smoke happen, you got to be really about that shit. So, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How did y'all feel, you know what I'm saying, about all of this drama that's been going on? What y'all think about the things that Keyshawn Davis said? Are y'all actually interested in a Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin fight? I know I am. Are y'all actually interested in a Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney fight? I know I am. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.